Hi, thank you for watching this video. I don't know a whole lot about technologies. You probably figure out looking at this. I don't think I have the color right or probably even the speed right, but hopefully you can hear what I have to say. It's not that interesting to look at myself particularly, although I hope you enjoy the pictures behind me. The one directly behind me is going to be the cover of my new album called Midnight Song. I've written several songs about going through the nighttime hours of anguish and trying to grow in faith in the Lord and overcome through the trials and tribulations that we go through. I've been through my share, and I've written many of my songs kind of just through the agony that I've lived through and in different situations. But I believe I'm coming out on the other side, and I am rejoicing in tribulations more and more, and learning patience, learning to grow in confidence and strength in the Lord. The reason I'm sharing these little snippets of messages is that I believe that we are going to go through the tribulation, through the great tribulation. And I've written some books, and I'm hoping that perhaps you'll check these out. The first one is on my webpage called Verily Ministry, Verily, means in truth, verilyministry.com. I have a book called The Birth Pains that I wrote several years ago, and I'll apologize in advance for that particular one because that was kind of my rough draft. It was what I was starting to write over the years, 20, 30 years ago, that the Lord was showing me, and a lot of things have been probably changed a little bit, simplified a little bit in some of my later teachings because it can get a little bit confusing, and it's definitely controversial when you start talking about the tribulation, pre-tribulation or post-tribulation rapture and things like that. And you'll get some of my music on that particular web page as well, and those are also rough drafts. I did do a music album with tapemusicgroup.com called Verily, Verily, Abide, which is a compilation of many of the scriptures put to song, talking about dwelling in the Lord or abiding in His presence. And people that have listened to it have told me that it does help them to focus upon the presence of the Lord and come into His care, into His peace. So I do hope that you'll look that album up as well. As I said, the next album I'm doing is Midnight Song, which is going to be, the picture behind me is a diffused forest picture of light coming through the darkness, the light of the glorious gospel of Christ coming through those things that seem to try to interfere. The book that I've just recently completed is called Rapture in Reality, and many people are confused about the rapture. Many people are entangled with a lot of doctrines that I believe are misleading and dangerous. And I'm hoping to get this out to you because when the times of the end get more distressful, more complicated, more horrific, when we see natural disasters or political and economic problems getting worse and worse, people will wonder what's going on. They will wonder why they're not gone if they believe in the pre-tribulation rapture. And I am trying to teach you that we are going to go through the Great Tribulation for a reason. One particular thing I want to share is that the tribulation and the wrath of God are two different things. And that's one thing that has gotten confused, that we need to realize that the wrath of God does come upon the sons of disobedience. And that will be after the time of testing, which is called the Great Tribulation. If you want to read that particular book, it's just being printed right now by Zulon Press, called Preparation for Tribulation, and the other one is called Rapture in Reality. My webpage is called prepfortrib.com. I have radio programs that I've been putting out there. Right now I just have 4 small radio stations and 15 minutes a week, all I could afford to get started. One of them's Omaha, KLNG, WSKY in Asheville, North Carolina, York, Pennsylvania, and Kansas City, Missouri are the 4 stations that I have been putting out this message on. And I figured I better get it on YouTube and someplace where more people can watch. I'm hoping to do something on one of the interactive things like Blog Talk or TalkShoe or one of the internet formats very soon. But this is just basically my first little message, and I just want to be out there for people that are questioning about the Great Tribulation, whether we really are going through that time. And I really believe that when we say that we're waiting for Jesus, that actually He's waiting for us. He wants a group of people to come into the fullness of the measure of the stature of Christ, to become complete in Him. Our salvation is like a seed. It's an incorruptible seed that is planted in our hearts. You can read the parable of the sower in Matthew 13, and it talks about the different harvests, 30, 60, and 100-fold. And those people who allow the Lord's word and His will to grow in them, they allow their flesh to be crucified daily and let the Holy Spirit have full entitlement, full jurisdiction, full completion in them. They are the ones who will become a fruit-bearing tree in the kingdom of the Lord. So part of what I'm sharing here is found on prepfortrib.com, and you can get in touch with me through that webpage. And you can also order the books, and I'll repeat the name of those. The first is called Preparation for Tribulation, and the second one is called Rapture in Reality. I'm hoping that people will perhaps want to comment. I do believe that this is a controversial subject, and hopefully not be offended by what I'm sharing, not be blown away because I'm sharing something that is so different from perhaps what you've been taught. I'm hoping that you'll be open to hearing with a peaceful heart and not contentious of what I'm sharing here. Now, I'm just going to share just a short time right now just to get started, and then I'm going to start putting some more shows on this on YouTube as I get going so that people can understand what I'm about and where to connect with what I'm sharing. So that's all I'm going to share today. Thank you very much.